Welcome to the Her Story Circle podcast, the podcast that brings you the extraordinary tales of everyday women who are changing the world. I'm your host, Gertrude Mache, and I'd like to acknowledge traditional custodians of the land on which we meet today. I also like to pay my respects to elders, past, present, and emerging. Every week, we dive into the lives, challenges, and triumphs of women from all four corners of the globe. We're here to inspire, enlighten, and connect, sharing stories that uplift and empower. So grab a cup of coffee, settle in, and join us as we explore the incredible journeys of women shaping our future. This is Her Story, where every woman's voice matters. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Her Story Circle. This is Gertrude Mache here in beautiful Melbourne, Australia. And today I am graced with the presence of yet another fascinating young woman. Welcome, welcome, welcome to our tribe. Please tell everybody your full name, where you're based, how old you are, and share your story with us today.
Hi, thank you so much, Gertrude, for having me. My name is Alexia Antoniadis, and I am the owner and founder of Earth Cleaning. So basically a bit about me. I was studying creative writing literature at RMIT University. I did a few writing internships. I've always been quite passionate about literature. And while I was studying, I started working as a cleaner just because of the flexible hours, and I loved the autonomy of that the job allowed me. Obviously great for school hours. And then COVID happened. So sneak attack, COVID. I was completely thrown off. I had no income. I was really struggling with the workload of my university studies. And I found it really, really tough. So for those of you who have been to university, you know that it's obviously a struggle regardless of whether or not you're rocking up in person. But I found that even studying something that I really loved and was passionate about, the lack of human to human contact and guidance really threw me off. And I was halfway through this degree that up until that point I had absolutely loved. And I started questioning my whole life and what I was doing and where I was heading. And my mental health took a toll. I was just in the house. I was procrastinating. I sort of lost track of my goals, and I really, really struggled. Then after restrictions in Melbourne ended, which was quite late, especially compared to some of the other countries in the world, we stayed in lockdown for a really, really long time. And even after lockdown, we had really strict restrictions. After that ended, I was able to start work again. My decision was not to go back to the agency with which I had been cleaning previously, but instead to start cleaning independently. So what I actually did was I bought myself some eco-safe cleaning equipment, which is basically just cleaning equipment that doesn't use chemicals. So the way our technology works is it actually catches and lifts germs and bacteria as opposed to killing them, which does an excellent job and obviously does not compromise the health of our clients, nor the environment. So what actually happens with conventional cleaning products is all the bleaches, chemicals, what have you, are washed down drains, toilets, etc. And they all actually end up in the ocean. And what happens then is it compromises the health of fish and coral and wildlife, and actually also the quality of the water. Now, the way the ocean functions primarily is like the lungs of the planet. A lot of people think that it's the trees, and to an extent that is true because trees obviously produce a lot of gases which are sort of like vital to the health of the planet and the quality of the air. But the ocean actually regulates the temperature of the earth. So it keeps the cold parts of the world cool and the hot parts hot. And without the ocean, the earth basically loses its capacity to regulate its own temperature, which obviously causes all sorts of havoc in nature, in regards to global warming and stuff like that. So the ocean is basically the like global thermostat of our planet. So it's very, very important. In addition, it also provides a massive percentage of food and other sort of products which are necessary for sustaining life. So a lot of very, very important resources originate from the ocean. So if from a business standpoint, we're talking about environmental sustainability. What that means is more than just recycling and doing small little sort of actions like that, which obviously make a difference in and of themselves. For us, we kind of wanted to target the ocean specifically because we do recognize that the ocean does play a fundamental role in the health of the planet. So basically, the way this relates back to me is I've just come out of COVID. I'm on the back end of my degree. I'm still kind of a little bit frazzled. And I've purchased an eco-safe cleaning kit. So basically what that means is we don't use any chemicals or bleaches. So none of them get washed down the drains and toilets and end up in the ocean. We use just water and natural, say, chemicals. We use some like marble paste, which is derivative of stone, and has no real impact on the environment. Additionally, we do not use plastic. All of our materials are basically reusable, so they don't use like plastic or paper containers. Especially if you're working as a cleaner, you're going through those chemicals like they're water. So you'll go through so many bottles, so many containers, all of which will probably end up in landfill and play a massive part in, the sort of rubbish that we produce. So I purchased one of these kits. I'm taking a bit of a chance because at this point I have pretty much no money. So I'm spending hundreds of dollars on this kit. I'm going to Officeworks. I'm printing. For those of you who don't know, Officeworks is basically like a office superstore. It's kind of like the Costco for office supplies, and you can get your printing done there. So I walk myself down there. I print out like black and white flyers. They looked so terrible. I wonder to this day if anyone still has the original flyers that I made. And I just dropped them in local mailboxes. Within weeks, I have, a full roster of homes and properties that I'm cleaning. Everyone's giving me all this feedback. Like, it's so hard to find a cleaner that listens and, takes criticism well. And there was just basically an overwhelming positive response to what I was doing. So that's when I sort of started to realize, hang on a minute, I can actually grow this and I can help people by fulfilling that demand for reliable, honest service workers, in this case cleaners, to come into their home and sort of carry out those regular cleaning duties, but also make them feel good about their eco footprint and the eco footprint of their household. Especially if you're getting regular cleaning services, or in my case, carrying out regular cleaning services, it can often be really tricky to sort of balance that with an environmental responsibility. So a lot of people really, really appreciated what I was doing, and it wasn't too long before I hired my first employee. And slowly over the years, we have grown into still quite small, but a little bit bigger than we were. We're a small team now of cleaners. We all love and support one another. We love our clients. We love the work that we do. And we all do it at no cost to the environment. So yeah, basically that's my story. As of now, I'm taking a little step back from cleaning physically. I still do have my regular clients that I clean for and that I really love, because I still see myself as like this uni student with no experience. And since then, you know, the company has grown and we've got a lot more experience, and I feel a lot more confident. We're currently in the process of getting verified with the NDIS, so we can start actually providing services for people with disabilities, and then potentially aged care clients. So yeah, it will basically give us the opportunity to expand our services and offer them to those who actually need it most, because people who are suffering with disabilities, elderly, children, and actually pets as well, are extremely high risk individuals. And if they are breathing in the particles of harsh bleaches and chemicals, as well as absorbing them through surfaces on which they do linger once the cleaning has finished, especially if they're getting a clean once every week, every fortnight even, those chemicals can actually have adverse health effects and can irritate pre-existing conditions. So things like asthma, things like migraines, stuff like that. So we're really excited to potentially be able to offer those services, not just to our current customer base, but to at-risk individuals who maybe would be receiving cleaning services from the NDIS that are not chemical free and are not eco-safe. So our belief at Earth Cleaning is that whatever's good for the environment will benefit us. And if we're conducting our business in a way which is considerate and responsible of the earth, then that will also be positive for the health and holistic well-being of our workers. So I think that you can't necessarily provide a service that is good impact on the clients and also the cleaners as well. So our cleaners don't better for them, especially if they're cleaning multiple properties a day. A lot of cleaners and service workers in general really do suffer, especially in the long term, from carrying out tasks like that on a daily basis, because a lot of the chemicals that we use are toxic, and there is no sort of regulation surrounding the use of those chemicals and the impact that they have on our health. So basically, yeah, our mission at Earth Cleaning is to grow to where we can spread our message and our values past just the local clients and hopefully the whole country and potentially even the whole world at some point. We really want to expand Earth Cleaning to be able to reach as many people as possible, because it has always been my belief that organizations can have a bigger impact, environmentally speaking, than individuals can. So that's basically where we're at the moment, Gertrude. And yeah, we hope to keep growing in the future.
Well, I'm intrigued with what you've done. You know, right now, everywhere in the world, we are looking for solutions that are sustainable, that don't damage the environment, that can actually make a difference. Are you finding that you are getting more business because of what your organization stands for?
That's a great question. So I would say that it's hard for me to answer that directly because I've obviously only ever had an eco-safe cleaning company. So I'm not really sure the demand other cleaning companies are getting, but I can definitely tell you in terms of our customer feedback, a lot of our customers will say, I'm actually an asthmatic and it's very hard for me to find a company who can provide services without chemicals and still do a really great job. So a lot of our, like a high percentage of our feedback is in regards to us being able to cater to the demand for no chemicals. So I think a lot of our customers are responding to that and hiring us because of that.
I love that. So your education and internship seems to have helped you develop these communication skills. Has it really made a difference for you when you are managing your team and supporting the team that you have right now? And how does that play out, especially when you have male employees who are working under you?
Yeah. Look, to be honest with you, I don't actually really always think about it in terms of my degree, just because it's so unrelated to what I'm doing. Like, I'm doing business, and I was studying, creativity and writing and stuff. But I think in terms of developing my communication skills, I would say that I'm glad I did my degree, just because, number one, it taught me perseverance. So I don't think that I necessarily would have the tough skin that I do. And I think I probably would have honestly given up long ago if it wasn't for my degree. It's taught me that just because you don't understand something, you can always figure it out and you can always ask for help. And that has really, really been in value to me in terms of my business practices. It's also taught me to sort of read between the lines a little bit, which I think is also an important skill to have in business, because sometimes when people say one thing, what they're really trying to ask is another, and you need to be very, very in tune with your customer base in order to be able to figure out what they want and then fulfill their needs. So, yeah.
I love that. Now, with regards to your competitors in the market right now, where do you think you are falling in the range of doing really well because you have this product, or are your competitors lagging behind because they don't? Does the industry have any ways of checking?
I would say to you that there are not many companies who will offer, particularly commercial companies, because I think if you're in someone's home, it's very intimate, it's very personal. They care about what you're using and how you're doing it. Whereas when you sort of branch out into commercial cleaning, if you're cleaning like shopping centers or salons or huge offices, warehouses, they kind of just want it done, and they're not really thinking about, number one, their company's capacity to contribute towards change, and the platform that they have and how they can, make a small change for a big difference, but also the health of their employees. I think that they're not really thinking about that. They kind of just want to know that it's done and the cleaning happens, and the cleaner sort of comes in and out, and no one really knows much more about it. So yeah, in terms of our competitors, I think that there's not really many companies who can offer a service like we can. However, it's just more in terms of those opportunities for growth will sort of be dependent on breaking the barrier and also being taken seriously. And that's something that I've found I've struggled with, especially as a woman, particularly a young woman. People don't really take you seriously. They kind of try and tell you how to do your job, or I can help you to do this, or, they don't realize that I actually understand what I'm doing. I'm very competent and I do have faith in myself, and they kind of speak to you like it's like a parent-child dynamic. So yeah, breaking through that barrier has been something that I've kind of faced. But I think that, again, it all comes back to that resilience. The more confidence you have, the better you carry yourself, and the stronger you are in your convictions. People actually start to say, hang on a minute, I think she seems to know what she's doing, and they take it seriously. So yeah.
Confidence is everything. Confidence is everything. Now, in terms of setting the business up, where did you get the funding? Did you do this through your own funds, or did you have support from your family? What did it take for you to start your own business?
Yeah, well, that's actually a great question. And I think a lot of people, particularly my age, might see it as this really intimidating prospect of, who am I to run a business, But I actually started with just a couple of $100 from my savings, which was quite small. And I bought my cleaning kit, and I've been lucky that when it comes to the service industry, you actually don't need barely any capital. You can kind of make it work and then make a bit of money. And then you've got enough money to, say, build a website. And then once that website comes in, that will actually pay itself off and you make a little bit more revenue. Then maybe you can get the flyers printed in color instead of black and white, and that will attract more customers' attention. And then slowly we've been able to build ourselves. Now I've just got some business cards made, and I've been able to hire a marketing team, and you can actually invest all of that back into the business. But when it comes to the service industry, people are paying for your skill and your physical ability. They're not really paying for, say, a product.
Yes.
So there's minimal capital that you need to invest in the beginning. So I was actually quite lucky in that respect. And also everything that I have made, and I can't stress this enough, goes straight back into the business. So I might get excited and think, wow, I can't believe like how much money I have in the bank, but I might as well have nothing in the bank, because once you invest back into the business, it just goes back down again. So you can't let that discourage you, and you actually need to just think of it, think of your progress. Well, this is what I've found helpful anyway, in terms of, look at how do I feel now in terms of my confidence, my skill set, and my ability, and how does that then relate back to when I first started? And I can tell you now, Gertrude, that myself compared to how I was when I first started, my confidence is, I'm like a completely different person. I have faith in that if I don't understand something, I can just ask for help, and I don't make that mean something about me, and I don't make it mean something about my competence and my ability, because no one knows everything, and people who act like they do are liars and don't learn very much. So yeah,
That is so true. Now, in terms of diversifying what you're doing, have you thought of going into developing your own product line for households? You know, you're describing some of the things that you're using. Is that a part of your plan down the line, to have your own product line, or maybe even franchise the business? What are your expansion plans?
Yeah, absolutely. So in terms of our current business plan, our goal is mainly to offer our services to as many people as we can. So that will then mean that we're making the biggest impact on the positive impact on the environment that we can, and on the health of people, because how many hundreds of thousands of people are there out there who are cleaning with bleachers and disinfectants every day and suffering in their health in one way or another? May not necessarily be asthma, maybe skin conditions, maybe headaches, maybe allergies, and aren't realizing it, particularly children, because the damage that you do to a growing body or a vulnerable body can sometimes be permanent. So our goal is not necessarily to, obviously we need money is important, but it's not necessarily to make as much money as we can and be as profitable as we can. If that was the case, we probably wouldn't be using the equipment that we are using, because it is very expensive. But we want to grow as much as we can. So franchising is the main aim of the game at the moment. We want to eventually be the people in the shopping centers, the people in the public areas and public spaces that are getting those contracts and performing those services. In terms of our own product line, I personally haven't thought that much into it, just because it would kind of take us in a whole different direction, and we would become like a different sort of company. We'll be selling products rather than service, and we are sort of in the service industry. But I wouldn't rule it out for the future, because there are people who perhaps can't, get together the disposable income weekly to be able to afford a cleaner, and those people shouldn't miss out on those services. So yeah, in terms of developing a product, I wouldn't say it's off the cards for now.
I love that. Now, if you could go back and have a conversation with the younger you, that young woman who stepped into the world of business, knowing what she wanted, but not sure how to do it, if you could go back and give yourself 3 pieces of advice, 3 nuggets of wisdom, based on what you've learned up until this point, what would those 3 nuggets of wisdom be?
All right. So first one would be, wherever there is a demand for a certain thing, there's a business. So do people need cleaning done? Obviously, yes. Otherwise, we would be living in our own filth. There's a business. And if you can't figure out how to monetize it, you need to keep trying, because clothes, people wear them. So there's a business there. Food, people eat it. Music, people listen to it. So whenever there is a demand for something, there's an opportunity for a business. So for those of you who think, oh, well, what would I even, I don't know if people would want this, or I don't know if people would be into what I'm selling. You just need to sort of tap into the demand, and there will be always business for you. So business is abundant as well. It doesn't matter about your competitors or what they're doing. No one else is going to do exactly the same thing as you in exactly the same way. And it's important to have faith, because sometimes you can undermine your own product or service when you compare yourself. So wherever there's demand, there's a business. Number two would have to probably be not to get discouraged. And this is probably the biggest one I could think of. As a woman, people can make you feel, even you can make yourself feel like, oh, business is not something that, certain people can do. It's not for everyone. It is for everyone. And if you don't know something, you can always figure it out. Always. Even if you feel like there's no resources, it's not so simple as just looking up a YouTube video and learning the steps. You can always figure it out if you keep trying. You need to keep trying. Send 1 million emails. Wake up every morning, set an alarm, call 5 people. Hey, can you help me? Hey, can you help me? Hey, can you help me? I have been denied help by so many people who would just say, oh, I don't really understand what you're asking me, or I'm not the person. And it's very easy to be faced with that and think, oh, I kind of feel stupid, and all these people are acting like, they don't want to help me. So maybe it's something to do with me. You can't take it personally. You need to keep going. And that's the only way that you're going to become the person or the businesswoman that you are capable of being, because no one's more capable. And that would honestly probably be my third bit of advice. No one is more capable than you. No one is more able to grow and learn than you are. It just depends on how much you want it. So yeah,
I love that. I love that. So you have to see where there is pain in people's lives. If you can come in as the doctor to solve the pain, a business opportunity opens up, right? So how do you stop the negative self-talk? You're talking about how we beat ourselves up, especially women. How do you challenge that little voice that sometimes pops in and says, you can't do this? Who do you think you are? It's not going to work. How do you deal with that as an entrepreneur?
What I do is I look back instead of forward, because sometimes when you look at where you're going, even though everyone always says, look forward, never look back. When you look back, you compare yourself to your past self as opposed to your future self. Your future self is, I want to be a millionaire and I want to drive this car and have all this and be so successful. And you might feel further away from future her than past her. So when you look back, you're actually able to say, okay, I'm not a millionaire and I actually don't have all of the things that I want. But if I look at how far I've come, then you're able to compare yourself to yourself, not just in terms of money or success or whatever you would define as success, but in terms of how you feel. How has your capacity to manage stress changed? Are you more calm? Are you more personable? Are you more open to feedback? Do you not take things so harsh on yourself?
Yeah.
So I always look back. And the more you do, the more you do. So the more you do, the further you will go, the more you can look back and say, now look how far I've actually come,
Yeah. All right. So let's have a little thought experiment. And I'm going to teleport you into the future right now. You're now 90 years old. and you're sitting in your rocking chair, surrounded by your children, your dogs, your cats, your grandchildren. If I could take you into the future to meet the 90-year-old you, based on how you're building your business and living your life right now, if you could have a conversation with her, what would you say to this wise woman who's led you to that point?
So if I could speak to my older self.
Yes. If you could have a conversation with a 90-year-old you, what would you say to her?
I would probably say that just that I'm grateful. I'm really grateful for us. And we're a team, and we finally did it. I would assume that hopefully by the time I'm 90, I would be retired, and I would have had the privilege of seeing all my business efforts pay off and all my goals come into fruition. And I would relax, and I would feel like all my hard work has finally paid off. And it would be really a beautiful feeling, and that's why I get up every day for that 90-year-old woman, so she can chill out.
I love it. I love to ask that question because I feel that a lot of women don't realize that the wise woman is already in them. She's already guiding you. This is why you have the prompting to start a business. This is why you have those light bulb moments and you know exactly what to do without consulting anybody else. But a lot of times women don't trust themselves. So I play a lot with the future me. I play a lot with who I am becoming. And if I get stuck with something at night, I do my meditation, my prayers, and I just ask the question, what is the next step? And your brain will keep going while you're sleeping, right? Then you wake up in the morning with those light bulb moments and you know exactly what the next step should be. So thank you for thanking her because she's already here and you are going to achieve those goals.
That's an incredible insight because, yeah, it's true. A lot of the answers are staring you right in the face, and it's like a pool of water when it's, you're anxious and you're clouded by self-doubt. You can never see the answers that are already there. So it's amazing that you say that. It's very reassuring.
No, good luck with your business. You are such an inspiring young woman. I can feel your energy. I know if I get you back onto this podcast a year from now, 2 years from now, this is going to be a completely different story. So do stay connected to us, please. This is an absolute inspiration. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. I would love to be back in a year. It's been a real privilege speaking with you.
I will definitely follow up with you. And thank you to everybody who's tuned in today. Her Story Circle is attracting some women who are absolutely phenomenal, young and old, who are sharing their stories so that their story becomes the light at the end of the tunnel for someone else. So if you're somebody who's in business and you're struggling and thinking, should I do it? Shouldn't I do it? This is an amazing story for you to follow and stay inspired. So I'm sharing the website at the bottom of the screen. If you want your home, your office, your business cleaned with eco-friendly products, do get in touch. Everything is on the website. Thank you so much, Alexia.
My pleasure.
Bye for now, everybody. I'll be back again tomorrow when I interview yet another amazing woman. In the meantime, have a fantastic day, morning, or evening, wherever you are in the world, and bye for now. Thank you for tuning into the Her Story Circle podcast. I hope today's story has inspired you to believe in the power of our stories and the difference you can make in the world when you use your voice. I'm Gertrude Mache, and it's been an honor to share this space with you, where voices from all walks of life come together to weave a rich tapestry of diverse perspectives. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review our podcast to help us share these stories with more listeners. Follow us on social media by looking for the Her Story Circle podcast for more updates. And join us tomorrow for another episode filled with courage, resilience, and empowerment. Remember, your story matters, and together we're building a stronger, more inclusive world. Until next time, keep making her story.